In 1983, Ireland held a referendum on Article 40.3.3, which has become the Eighth Amendment of the Irish Constitution. The Eighth Amendment is there to enforce the law that both the mother and the unborn receive the same equal rights to life as far as it is practical. With over 150,000 Irish women receiving abortions since 1980, and on average 10 women travelling to the UK in 2014 to receive an abortion, Ireland, now 35 years later, is set to undergo a referendum on whether to repeal or to save the Eighth. This decision does not come lightly, and our generation is affected by this decision immensely, and our generations to come. Therefore, we as a group decided to express our opinions and express our arguments on whether we believe to repeal the Eighth or whether we believe to save the Eighth.
I strongly believe that adoption is a much better option if you happen to fall pregnant and aren't yet ready for the responsibility of raising a child. A recent study showed that 13% of couples in the US are unable to conceive, and you could fulfill a couple's life by choosing to give your child up for adoption. You cannot always put yourself first. You have to be the bigger person and realise that there are so many people who would love a child. What gives you the right to take someone else's life just for your own personal convenience? At the end of the day, there are so many people out there who desperately want the opportunity you've been given, and you choose to throw it all away. According to the journal.ie, there are 14 times more Irish people looking to adopt than there are children available. This is a shocking statistic, and it can be changed if you choose to put your child up for adoption. The far more responsible route to take is adoption. So before you settle on an abortion, please look into adoption, as you would be saving a life and also enriching the lives of others.
I will discuss the pro-life side. In the pro-life campaign, abortion is strongly opposed. They believe it a form of murder. Under the Irish law, murder is defined by the unlawful act of killing another human being, which occurs during an abortion. The pro-life argue that the unborn child is not a human and doesn't deserve the right to life. But we determine whether a human is alive if a heartbeat is present. 8 weeks after conception, the unborn child has a working, beating heart. If a pregnant woman is murdered, the murderer is convicted for double homicide. This is seen in the Scott Peterson case, where he was convicted of first-degree murder of his wife and second-degree murder of his unborn son.
Consider the pregnant person's future. Do you really believe that the birth of an unwanted child to a young, promising person will hinder their life? Because of course it will. It will cause financial expenses and increase amount of stress, and possibly huge medical bills if they lack the adequate insurance. Is it really ethical to force this upon someone who never asked for it? Like, not all pregnant people consented to sex. Rape victims didn't, and some people were too young to consent to sex. In cases of rape, the resulting baby could be a constant reminder of the trauma the woman just experienced. Research also suggests that babies of such cases face a higher risk of neglect and abuse from their mothers. And even if the sex that led to pregnancy was consensual, consent to one thing does not automatically translate to equal consent to another. Many people may not fully comprehend the implications of their actions, but why would consent to sex be viewed as consent to pregnancy and childbirth? Of course, you could argue that the woman could put the baby into care, but many foster homes and orphanages are already beyond capacity. Putting a child into a foster care system will be even heavier on already scarce resources.
Ireland is currently looking towards having a referendum whereby the Eighth Amendment may be repealed. In order for this to be achieved, Ireland must look towards the laws of England. In Rex versus Byrne, a girl of only 14 years of age was raped and in turn became pregnant. This case played a vital role in legalising abortion in England under the Abortion Act 1967, whereby certain criteria must be met. These include the pregnancy must not exceed 24 weeks, if pregnancy is of a risk to the mother, if there is a risk of the child becoming either mentally or physically impaired, and to prevent the injury of the mother, be it physical or mental. In retrospect, if the Eighth Amendment is to be repealed, these criteria must also be followed.
The Eighth Amendment has had tragic consequences for many Irish women. For example, in 1983, Sheila Hodgers, a young mother of two, died in agony at Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital 2 days after giving birth to a premature baby girl. She became pregnant after receiving treatment for recurrent cancer.
Her husband had repeatedly asked for an abortion, early delivery of the baby, or caesarean section. All were refused. The baby of 7 months gestation died a few hours after birth. By this stage, Sheila had tumours everywhere, on her neck, legs and spine, as her cancer treatments had been stopped by the hospital due to the fact they claimed it would harm the pregnancy. 2 days after the news broke about Miss Hodgers, the 8th Amendment was voted on and passed to be added to the Constitution. Since then, thousands of women and families in Ireland have been negatively impacted by the 8th Amendment.
In the ongoing abortion debate in Ireland, there is a lot of false information, misconceptions and stretching of the truth. In this video, I will aim to give clear and factual information regarding the barriers faced by women when accessing a legal abortion. Firstly, a trip to the UK can be very costly, and some women simply can't afford this cost. This can lead to women resorting to desperate measures in order to end their pregnancy, such as purchasing abortion pills online or using at-home abortion methods. A woman risks up to 14 years imprisonment if found to be purchasing online abortion pills. Not to mention, unsafe abortion pills have accounted for 14.5% of maternal deaths globally. In 2016, 3,265 women travelled to the UK in order to access a legal abortion. Criminalising abortion does not stop abortion. It only puts women in danger and makes access more difficult.
I'll be highlighting the argument on the upcoming referendum, which is called Repeal the 8. The upcoming referendum will occur on the 25th of May 2018. The Repeal the 8 referendum is talking about whether we should allow abortion in this country or that we shouldn't, as many people do travel to seek abortion. I was looking at the statistics and it said in the 2016 Irish census, it said that there was 66,000 people born in Ireland that had self-declared disabilities. When we looked at a country like Iceland that does allow abortion, it was only recorded in Iceland, a country that has a population of 3,300,000, only about 2 people are born a year that have disabilities. And we looked at a country like Denmark, which has a 98% percentage of people being aborted that have disabilities there, and countries like France as well, which has a 71% of babies with disabilities being aborted over there. That's why I think, just looking at those statistics, that abortion shouldn't be allowed in this country, and which I am arguing for the pro-life, as I do believe everyone does have an equal chance to equal right to life.
2013, there is a slight win for the pro-choice group, as the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act was introduced, where a woman who was at risk of attempting suicide would be allowed to access abortion services after being examined by 2 psychiatrists and a doctor. Whilst this was a slight win for the pro-choice group, they still believe that abortion should be accessible for all, regardless of if they're at risk of suicide. So presently women cannot access abortion if they have been raped or if they simply do not want to be pregnant anymore, and also if a fetal fatal abnormality is detected, they still must have to travel to the UK. The pro-choice group feels that this is unacceptable and that women should have better access to abortion here in Ireland at present.
Article 40.3.3, known as the 8th Amendment, was voted into the Irish Constitution by referendum in 1983. The amendment states, "The state acknowledges the right to life of the unborn, and with due regard to the equal right to life of the mother, guarantees in its laws to respect and, as far as practicable, by its laws to defend and vindicate that right." The amendment equates the life of a pregnant woman with that of an embryo or fetus, and has created an unworkable distinction between a pregnant woman's life and her health. In 1981, the Irish anti-abortion lobby group, the Pro-Life Amendment Campaign, PLAC, was launched. The anti-abortion campaign, with the help of the Catholic Church, launched a successful campaign convincing the Fine Gael Labour government at the time to hold a referendum on abortion, despite many politicians at the time expressing anxiety with the wording that PLAC wished to insert into the Constitution. The campaign was bitter and divisive, but the 8th Amendment was passed by a majority of 2-1. The upcoming referendum on the 8th Amendment is one of the most important issues the people of this country will ever vote on. So no matter your opinion, make sure you're eligible to vote in the referendum this summer.